Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer, and today I'm gonna play 1860. And we just enter now the second operating round, so not a lot happened. And also in the second the second stock round, of course. During the first operating round, well, we laid the first pieces of track. Companies purchased a couple of trains, and that's it. Nobody made money except from the private companies, but nobody has actually enough cash to buy a share. This guy is sitting at 60 bucks, and we still have par values here of 74, so nobody can do anything here. It would be possible at that point to actually sell shares and start one of these two companies here. They are now available. Remember, companies always come out in tiers, so these two could not be started in the basically in the stock round before. But that would be not a great idea, because you simply would have purchased shares for 74 bucks and then, without making any money from them, sell them for 68. I mean, that is just stupid. So therefore, players might hold on to their shares a little longer. However, these two shares that are sitting in here, they are reserved. That's something you can see from here. They are reserved for these private companies. So at the moment, there are no more shares available except of new companies. So if someone now has more than 74, or if someone has, enough money left to buy additional shares, they come into this situation where they might actually have to consider, okay, I have now money sitting in my hand, so I probably have to sell some of these shares, although they make money, just to be able to start a new company. Otherwise, the money sits just on the table. So probably next operating round we will see one of these two companies getting started. Next stock round. So let's go into the next operating round here and see what happens. So the cows in Newport, I think they're gonna build down here. Gonna take this interesting tile here, the double halt. And then here, which is this one, I think I want to go to breading. The problem is I cannot run my second train now here, because routes may never end in halts. So therefore I can run this route only next turn. And right now I can run the two trains here and then from here to here, because this is not a halt but a town. So I can make here 30 and then another 40. And that gives me 70 bucks for the company as revenue. But because I got that 2+2 train here, I can run the 2+2 train here, and I can take these two halts. So therefore 20 bucks will go into the company's treasury. So the Isle of Wight eastern section, they will probably lay track kind of like this. So we got this weird situation that he kind of builds around his track. He could also lay a sharp piece of track like this and then try to connect up here. I mean, that could be actually a better choice, but on the other hand, we make more money here than with the B. the B is only 10, and this one is 20. On the other hand, we could get access to all this piece of track maybe, but we only got a +1 train here, so that doesn't help us a lot. We get this one anyway. So I think I'm actually going to build down here to Sandown. So pay the $50 for the terrain, and it's this one here. I'm gonna go down here, and I could not lay now a piece of track here because that's a city. I can only lay 2 non-city tiles, so I might as well build down here and then maybe get access to this area and not be stuck over here. So yeah, I'm gonna do like this. Now this guy could be possibly in trouble, but I think he can simply build through this one, for example, upgrade that and build out here then. Okay, and then we're also gonna run 2 trains. No, actually not, we're only gonna run 1 train. This is not connected, we cannot take this offboard area. So we can only run the 50 train here, and that's it. But next turn we can run then a 2nd train. That means also we don't go up in value because we don't run our actual share value. So we simply stay where we are even though we paid out. Now you can see here it's so easy for me to mix these 2 currencies, the company credits and the pound up. So I'm really glad now that I have this 2nd chipset. I didn't have that a couple of months ago and it was just a mess all the time. But now it's easy to keep it apart. You realize pretty soon when you made a mistake. And okay, so this guy gets $5 here. This guy gets 10. And now what's interesting is when you invested in red and you would at the moment sell, you would actually lose money because you paid for 74, you lost $6 and you only gained $5. So every share at the moment lost you a pound, which is obviously pretty bad, so you don't want to sell these guys. You know, actually, I'm thinking about maybe I should change that here. I'm thinking about actually building toward here because this is only a straight track, so he has to connect eventually. And if I build this way, I could buy now a 3rd train, which I might be able to run next turn. On the other hand, if he places a token here, I can't do it. And then it does not really help me that much. I mean, I get 10 additional bucks from here, but then I'm sitting on a 3rd train. I don't know. I think I'm really not sure if I want to do that. Probably not. I don't really see a big gain here. It all depends if he places a dot here or not, because if he does, I have to skip that dot. I could do that to get here, which would give me access to this and that, but I can still only run 2 trains, and then I just bought a 3rd train that I can't run. So that doesn't really help me that much. The question is, of course, I could still make the connection here and simply run the 2 trains, but then if he does not lay a token here, I can only go to this place, which gives me 10 less bucks than if I would go here. So I think overall I might as well go here and try to kind of develop my network down here a little bit. Okay, so We're now in the next stock round, and this guy here has exactly 99 bucks. He's sitting on 126. No, 121, and he is sitting on 126. Now, obviously that alone is not enough to start a new company. I mean, it would be enough to actually buy the presidency, but it's not enough to float a company. But if everybody kind of invests his money, it probably would be. The question is if the others are willing to help the new president to float the company so that he does not have to sell any shares. Now, that's kind of interesting. If they don't do it, that money simply lies there in front of them and they can't do anything with it. So I don't know. I mean, one of these guys, especially the guy who has the most, he might simply say, okay, I just buy the presidency, for example, of the FYN for, let's say, 62 bucks. He does have the money to do it, just like that. So he could do that. And then, even if the others don't help him, who cares? I mean, then he has at least the presidency, and there's no difference if the money lies here or if the presidency lies there without operating. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, I mean, someone will start one of these two companies now. The question is just, will it float or not? And it is possible that it does not float. I mean, people probably have to sell shares. If he started at 62, he could only afford a single share. And this guy could also only afford a single share. So without selling shares at the moment, we could only buy 4 shares. And we're going to need 5 to actually float the company. However, maybe this guy is willing to sell a few CNN shares. And as I already mentioned, I think at the moment, it's it's hard to sell IOW shares, because if you do that, you will simply lose money, it kind of sucks to do that. But on the other hand, the IOW shares will make less money than the CNN shares in the next turn. So yeah, probably I'm actually willing to sell these IOW shares. Yeah, that's just weird. It's a weird feeling to sell shares, although you know you will lose money, but it might be necessary or reasonable to do it anyway. Okay, so these two guys definitely will not buy a presidency. He will. He can afford one and he will do it. The question is now, which one do we want to get? The IWNJ or the FYN? Now the IWNJ is sitting here, which is in the center, which is good. And it can maybe connect to any of these 2 lines in the next turn, which is also good, right? I mean, that one not, because there is only this for B, only the straight, so it has to go like this. And therefore, there's not going to be a connection here, but we possibly can connect to Sandown, depending on how he places his tile. Yeah. If he goes like this, well, I mean, we'll see. Yeah, it's a little. We might also consider going down here to Ventnor, which is worth 30, all the way down here, for example. So I'm not totally sure how to deal with that. The problem is this is only worth 10 bucks, this Merstone, and it will never get really good. If you take a look here at the final one, eventually it will only be worth 20 bucks. I mean, there is this one included here, which kind of gives you an extra 10 bucks, but it's still really not good. So that's a bit of a downside here. The other option is the FYN. Well, obviously that's pretty far off here. There are now a couple of cities here, especially with this new map here with the 2 extra hexes here. But then where to go? You have a B here, which is bad. You have another B here, which is bad. Eventually you want to make your way to Newport and went to this area here, obviously. And it doesn't usually take you that long because you can always lay 2 tiles. So that's going to be okay. But as long as Newport does not upgrade, or any one of these, you're kind of closed out from that. So that's not that great either. So usually I would say the FYN is the better company in most games. But because in this specific train combination here with these 2 surplus trains, yellow seems to be a little longer than usual, and therefore it's a little harder for them to get into this network than it otherwise would be. So I think on a 1 to 4, I'm going to buy this one, and otherwise I'm going to buy this one here. Okay, so I'm going to buy the presidency of the FYN, but I could now sell other shares to float it. But to be honest, actually I could also exchange this share for the extra share. Then I would have already 30%, and then by selling 2 of those shares I could start it. Is that worth it? Hard to tell. I gotta think about it. You know, actually I think I'm gonna wait for another turn. If I start it now, I have to start it at 62, and I'm not sure this is what I want to do. Maybe I have the option to start it up to 82, that's possible, and maybe I actually want to start it a little bit higher. I'm a little bit more of a conservative player, this guy down here. The others are more aggressive, but this one is more conservative, and I don't really think that it's that it's such a great idea to start the company so low. I could, but I can't float it anyway right now. So maybe if I wait for another turn, I could start it a little higher, and maybe that's an advantage for me. And if someone else steals it or buys, if someone else is willing to buy the presidency, that's fine too. You know, you don't necessarily need the presidency in this game. As I already mentioned, dumps are hard here. So control is nice, but I think it's not that important in this game as it is in some of the others. So I think I want to hold back right now, and maybe next stock round I can still consider buying one of the presidencies. So I played the operating round. No surprises here. We laid this piece of track, and now we're kind of stuck here. And I ran for 100 with that company, and 10 went into the company. And over here, we built that. And I ran for 90 with these guys, and also 10 went into the company. So, yeah, we go now into the next stock round. This guy has priority, and now he is going to start another company. So he does not get the chance to... Now he might actually regret it, but, you know, as we said, or as I said, having control might not be that important in this game as it is in others. So this guy wants to start the FYN pretty low. He's totally okay with that because I already explained that these two are more aggressive players while this guy is a little more conservative. So he was hesitating starting that low, but that other guy isn't. He said, you know, screw it. If it doesn't work anymore, I can simply sell everything into the bank pool and then who cares? It's not that easy because, you know, you have to find something to invest in, and the later companies are usually not as good as a powerful, you know, if you have one of the, or let's say it that way, the later companies with money are not as good as the early companies with money. But you got to find a way to get money into the early companies. That's the trick here. But he says, okay, whatever. I'm gonna buy the presidency for 124. And now, of course, the question is, what do the other players do? Now, they could also invest in this one, the IWNJ. Or they could say, well, we buy this one and hope that it makes good profit. But at the moment it's a little cut off, but of course you can kind of build here. Here you can place the dead end tile, for example, and then you can also run for, well, that would be 40 and another 50. You could also run for 90, pretty much the same as that one. So it's not as bad. Technically, you could even place 2 dead end tiles here and run for 100. No, actually that's not true. They also start just at 20. I thought they would start at 30, but that's not true. So no, it's not. Well, then you can only run for 80, but still not bad. Okay, so this player, he could also start a company, sell a couple of shares, and float that thing. He could start the IWNJ, but honestly, I don't think he wants to do it. There are 2 reasons for that. First of all, I mean, this is not exactly such a great company. Where do you want to go? We already said that. We can connect here. Okay, and then you kind of have to compete with these guys. Or you go here into this area of bad cities, or you go down here, which is okay, but then you're kind of stuck between these two. So I don't find that terribly convincing. In addition, this thing is only worth $10, which also kind of sucks. So I think this IWNJ is not a great company. The second reason why I do not necessarily want to start a company is this. I got two trains here, and I make the most money at the moment. And I don't really have a reason to push the trains, to get a lot of new cash into the game. You know, I mean, the other guys are struggling, and the faster the game develops, the more is likely that there is some change on the map, and then maybe, you know, this guy can cut in here somehow, and he can then also make use of this, of Newport. The player from here might be able to go to Newport when this becomes green. So right now, I think, you know, there are still 3 yellow trains here. Maybe I don't want to necessarily start a new company and push the trains. Just keep the game slow. I think that's okay for me. There is something to invest in. So why not simply buy another FYN share? And I guess that's what I'm going to do. Now this guy decides to actually start this one. He can now do that for 74. And we will also then get soon into green. And then we can make a connection to Newport. We can upgrade this to 20 and maybe somehow cut in here. So, and then it's not that bad anymore. If it's just at yellow and just runs down here, it's really not that great. But if we can get the connection to Newport, it's gonna be a little better than I hope. So yeah, I'm gonna start that for 74. Probably has to sell 2 of these shares to be able to float it, if he has to do it on its own. But yeah, I guess that's okay. So there was quite a bit going on in the stock round here. Some shares were sold so that the new companies could be floated, and we got now this one here, the Isle of Wight Newport Junction, the black one here, sitting on its par price of 74. The IOW went down. The CNN lost quite a bit. And then we got the FYN here on the par price of 62. Now this guy has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 70% of the CNN now. And in addition, he could trade in this share, so that would bring him to 80%. Might be good. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so this one starts operating here, the IWNJ. And I guess they're going to connect to here, probably lay a token here, and that should give them then the option to, they can then run to right, because they can skip that token, and this is a good space here, so they can then go this way and that way, and eventually they can kind of upgrade here. Oh, we'll see. But I guess that's the plan. We don't have to pay for terrain. I also thought about going down here, Ventnor, but yeah, this one is the more valuable one here. So let's see. Can take this one, I guess. And then this double hold token here. And yeah, I think it makes sense to place a token there for 40 bucks. We only have one more token left, by the way, but we are pretty much in the center here, so yeah, I think we don't have to hold back there. And now we can buy trains, and question is, do I want to buy 1 or 2 trains? I mean, I could definitely run 2 trains next turn. I might consider, though, saving this one. And then if somebody else buys 2 trains, for example, this guy here, but I don't know. I think I'm not going to wait for that. I'm interested in, I don't know. So I think if I only buy 1 single train, there's a good chance that this player also will only buy a single train, simply because he is already holding two trains. So then he would have 3, and he's kind of interested in running these for as long as possible. So I might as well buy 2 trains, and I get that cheap one anyway. And who knows what the other guy will do now? Is he really gonna buy? Yeah, I mean, now if he only buys 1 train, then this green one will be available for $150. That's an interesting train. So we'll see. This one here costs 100. It rusts on B, which would be very soon, but it runs at least twice. So we got to spend 350 for these 2 trains, which is a lot of cash. They might not run for a long time. I know, but fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna buy these trains for 350. Kind of sucks. I would have preferred to buy only a single 2 train, but at least I can get the one for 100. But otherwise I'm just stuck with a single train, and the others are not terribly interested to push the trains either. And in the end I'm making the least money, so I basically have to buy the 2 trains here. Okay, and the share value of course drops. So the FYN, they laid this tile here, and I guess I want to buy actually 2 trains. I'm going to buy this one, and I think the one here, this 3+1, I think that's actually a really good one. It costs $150, which is clearly cheaper than your standard B train. They seem to be about 300. It rusts on D. The other trains rust on E usually. I think that one, for example, rusts on E. But there are only 2 D trains available anyway. So I think that it's not such a... Is it? Yeah, I don't think there's such a massive difference between D and E. So I think that this is actually a pretty good deal. So I want to do that. I'm going to spend $400 to buy these 2 trains, and I'm going to buy 1 train into the IOW because I can definitely run 3 trains here. I'm just not sure if it's going to be the 3+1 or the 2+1. Got to think about that. I can run a 3 train here if I go to Totland, for example. So maybe I actually run 3 2 trains here, but of course it kind of sucks when you don't have, when they rust then. Yeah, but then you, well, we'll see. So that costs me now $400. Okay. Wow. Okay. There's a lot of not much money left here. It's yeah, these trains are incredibly expensive. Okay, and of course the share value drops, and again it's the end of the turn, but we're now in green. And from now on we got 2 ORs, and of course the green tiles now become available. Okay, so I played another stock round now, and this guy is now sitting on 80% of the CNN. He's holding another share, and the last share is reserved for him, so he might end up with 90%. And he was actually thinking about maybe bringing the company into bankruptcy. It's something he could really do now if he swallows twice. And then if he sells all 5 shares, the company would go bankrupt. Right, it would go here. Oh no, that's actually not true because it kind of drops like this. So it's a long way to bankruptcy. Okay, we can forget it. If you could arrange something like that, it would be kind of cool because then the company can be restarted with the cash in here, and that could be an interesting option for him. But yeah, I forgot that it kind of zigzags down, so it's not easy to arrange a bankruptcy at that stage of the game, I guess. Okay, so not too much interesting going on. We're gonna go into green now, and I assume that we're gonna see a little more action now, and then in the upcoming stock round, new companies will probably get started because now players are starting to make more money. It's a little odd, but the fact that we had 7 yellow trains here, that comes from this random package, that brought us into quite a long yellow phase. If you play the standard game, I think that goes a little faster. Okay, so let's go into the next OR. CNN start, and they lay now this upgrade for Newport. They have to lay it exactly like that. That's mandatory. And now you can see we got a few additional options here. You can now connect to here like that. You can go down here now, but that only gives you 30. These are not connected. And now this guy from here also can lay here with 2 double tile lays. He can also connect to Newport if nobody else goes away somehow here. Okay, and that means this guy has now here, this is 30, 80, and then another 60. So he runs for 140, and 10 from here go into the company. And of course he pays that out. So the IOW, they can now upgrade their tile here at the right esplanade, and they make now this connection to the right pier, and they can now kind of hit this twice. So that's 70 and another 70, so they are now also running for 14. Pretty good. And of course they're also going to pay that out. Okay, so we can now also buy a train from other companies for at least 10 bucks. So we're going to leave the B train in here, and the other A train goes over here. That will allow me, if I swallow once, to buy an additional train here if I think that might be necessary. I hope so, at least. I think that should work out. And yeah, well, we'll see. You know, usually it's not that great to have only A trains. I think it's better to have a combination of A and B trains, but the problem is I simply cannot run that other 3 train. I can run 3 2 trains, but I cannot run the 3 train. So therefore, I mean, what I could do is I could buy the 3 train over and then buy the 2 train back, so that I got 2 trains here, but I don't really see the reason for that either. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I think I'm okay like that, at least for now, and later is later. Okay, so then it's the Newport Junction. The guys down here, and they can now upgrade Murstone. Yeah, I think that's probably I'm not sure if it is such a good idea. I mean, I can kind of run here to this to ride. That gives me 50. I can skip that token. Maybe I should upgrade this and hit this twice and go to here. Might be a better idea. Sadly, I cannot go here, which I kind of have to decide if I want to go to this one here, to Newport, to the south here, or if I want to go to Ride, and Ride is more valuable at the moment. So I guess I will upgrade this one, if that is possible, but it should be. Yeah, there are a couple of ones. Maybe... Yeah, that looks good. Let's take this. Gives me the option later to go down here. And then we can run, basically this thing is 60, 110, 120. Not that bad for the second run. And I also get 30 into the company. I can run with a 2+2 here and take these two, and then one goes here. So 30 go into the company, and yeah, 100, whatever that was, 60, 110, 120, pretty good. So the IWNJ, they are now considering buying the 3 train here. Now this train is tricky. This is the Comet. I think that was some kind of experimental train which wasn't terribly successful, if I remember that right. And the thing costs $300, but it only runs twice. But then, wait a second. Wait a minute, I think I actually made a mistake. I think that train should have been gone. Darn. Yeah, that train should have been gone. Rusts on B. So that means this train is gone. That means that company makes less money. Shit, I completely forgot about that. Okay, I gotta go back here. This is important, and that means they're also gonna buy an additional train, obviously. They paid out $60 less. They couldn't run down here, which means they're also not gonna go up in share value. And that again means that they are pretty much forced to buy that train. Right? I mean, yeah, it's yeah, they have to do that. So they're gonna spend $300, and they're gonna buy that train because obviously they want to run 2 trains. Okay, and now it's this guy, and he paid out, and now he's got the option to buy this train here, and that's $300, and it rusts on E, and I think I will actually do that because I make less money than the others, and I somehow have to make up for this. I can run 3 trains kind of like this, then like that, and if I make a connection here next turn, which I can, I have enough money to lay to build in this mountain area, then I can actually go to Ventnor, and I can run all 3 trains to their full extent. So that's kind of cool, but obviously, yeah, I mean, this company is also now only with a little money left. Okay, and then it's the FYN, and So they got a 3 train. Question now is, do they aim for this one? For Newport? Or do they place a tile here and take the 3 train immediately? Now, I think, considering the fact that this guy, the Coes in Newport, they just bought a 3 train, so it's kind of likely they're interested in building that route for themselves, you know, they can all. So I might as well place a tile here, and then in the next turn I can make a connection with these guys, and then I can do that. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Of course, it's not sure that this is gonna happen. It's also possible that he somehow tries to, I don't know, maybe connect here or something. But this rye is also very attractive for him, obviously. But, you know, still, if that should happen, I can then still, yeah, okay. So we're gonna do this. And maybe I can make this a dead end, which brings me even more money then. So I run for 60. Share value goes up just barely, but it does. And of course I'm going to pay that out. So 30 over here. 6. And another 6. And I think I'm going to do one more OR. It's probably not going to be a terribly exciting one. Trains have been purchased pretty much now. And yeah, so let's do the second OR of this set. So the IOW makes a lot of cash here. They run for 70 and 80 over here. So that's 150 and 180, 210, and 10 for the company. So that is a lot of money, and they even make a double jump now. Pretty impressive. So the Coes in Newport, they're not going to build this connection here. Instead, they are actually going to go for this connection. So they're going to upgrade this. And that gives them now access to ride 50. That's pretty cool. So we got a 2 and a 3 train. Yeah, so I can run the 3 train here and take the 10 dot, which kind of sucks, but still. And the 2 can go here. Yeah, and both have +0, so I can take no additional dots here. But still, I mean, it's not that bad. So we can go 30, 80, 130, 180. Okay, it's not quite as good as the others, but it's still good enough for a double jump if we pay that out, which we do. I made a mistake down here. I thought I could immediately connect here, but I forgot I can only lay a single yellow tile if it's a city. Yeah, seems I gotta live with that. So basically I can, that sucks now. I mean, I could, no, probably, maybe, yeah. Okay, so first I get the terrain back. I thought I can build here, but that's not gonna work. So that was kind of a waste. Maybe then I should not have purchased that train. But on the other hand, that's okay. I guess it's okay. So we're gonna get rid of that for now, but instead we're gonna do an upgrade here. And we gotta place this also like that. This is also kind of fixed here. You can see there's the Newport arrow here. So we have to place this like that. And the cool thing is we can now go to Newport here with the first train. With the second train we can go like this. The third train we can go... Actually, we could even go to Newport a second time here with the other train in the north. So, I mean, that's pretty good. But sadly, it doesn't make a difference if we go to the pier or to Newport. Here we get a little more of these dots. I don't know if that helps or not. But sadly, we cannot... yeah, we're basically missing the third stop for the 3 train, which kind of sucks. We can take an additional halt though, so we can, instead of 2 halts, that's a 3 plus 2. So instead of 2 halts, we can take 3 halts. It gives the company 10 more bucks. Okay, so they are running for. Okay, I can take a lot of dots here. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna go for 50, and that's let's see, 70, that's 100, 130, and that's 180 also. And in addition to that, the company receives 60 bucks because we can take this halt from the first 2 train. It's a 2 plus 1 train. We can take from the 2 plus 2 train 2 halts here, and then we can take from the 3 plus 2 train 3 halts. They can take these. So the company receives 60 bucks, which is pretty awesome. And then, by the way, shares in here, they don't pay out to the company. So the only way to make money is to either swallow or to take the halts. And then it's 180 bucks. So that means that this guy basically gets 90 bucks. And that is a solid run. And we make a double jump. Okay, and now it's this guy here, the FYN. And I mean, they could, the question is, we could upgrade this, because right now we're running for 60, and we're gonna need 62 to make a jump. Otherwise we're just frozen there. But you know, the thing is, if I wait longer and longer, I gotta start building this connection to Newport. That is just vital. So I think I'm gonna do this now. And I'm going to accept the fact that I'm not going to make a jump, but eventually I might then be able to make a double jump or something. Maybe that's that might be worth it. Yeah, it's not. I'm not happy about that, but you know, fuck. The problem is I'm pretty much in the same situation next turn again, right? I'm not gonna jump. If I upgrade this, I'm gonna jump this time, and then next turn I got the same issue again. So either I wait until this guy builds the track, which is not necessarily gonna happen, or I do it myself, and I think I do it myself now. So let's see, we're gonna go like, nope. I'm gonna go like this. However, you know what? No, it doesn't help. Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. So yeah, we're gonna go like this. So I'm gonna run the 3 train now simply for for 60 bucks, which is not enough to make a jump, but nah. Okay, so that means 30 for me and 6 for the other guys. Okay. So that means we'll go into another stock round now, and at that point I'm gonna load it up, and now it takes up speed a little bit. We're gonna see now new companies getting started. I'm sure about that. There's now quite a bit of money with the players, and so yeah. Oh, and let's see, we just have, there's still about 3 trains left here. And I think I actually have to place a marker somewhere, because this thing now ran for the first time. So that means we gotta place some kind of marker here to remember that, and when it runs now again, it will rust, but we get a refund of 150 bucks. Okay. So, yeah, I guess that's it. Hope to see you on the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.